Hi, welcome to another episode of Hot Takes with me, the Silver Fox. Imagine, just 2 weeks before a general election, you bring out a manifesto in which you're going to cost the people of Scotland tens of millions of pounds a year in extra tax that will help drive away tourists, that will damage the entire tourist sector, and yet will raise virtually nothing in terms of closing the £18 billion black hole that you've created due to your own ineptitude and stupidity. Why would you do that? And what do you think the reaction is going to be? Because anyone who votes for the SNP will see this, and even now, you have to be pretty dumb to vote for the SNP, but surely they won't be so dumb as to say, yes, that's a good idea. Let's tax everything much, much higher, make everyone poorer, and destroy one of the biggest industries we've got, which is tourism. It's the work of a genius, isn't it? And then they will say, no, we won't vote for that because we're not stupid. Except, of course, we are talking about SNP voters here, and so they likely will vote for it. And then we'll wonder why their jobs have disappeared. Hey ho, there's no fixing stupid. Let's take a look at this, because it really is a massively dumb idea. Here goes. So, SNP stealth tax will cost Scots tens of millions a year amid a cost of living crisis. Now, they're calling this, they're introducing this thing, they're calling it a tourist levy. But that's only because they don't like to use the word tax. It's a tourist tax. But in fact, it's not. Let's call it what it actually is. It's an anti-tourist tax. Because it will drive people away. People will reject it, go, don't want to pay that, don't want to pay that. And then fewer people will come, fewer money is spent, shops don't make as much money, that's less money being raised in tax, they'll have to let people go, unemployment rises, blah, 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 all the way down the line. And it's an entire sector being damaged by this tourist or this anti-tourist tax. Scots face paying out tens of millions of pounds thanks to an SNP stealth tax. It has been warned. The Scottish Parliament recently passed legislation that will allow local authorities to implement a tourist tax. New figures suggest that a 5% levy will hammer Scots who opt to holiday in the country, a so-called staycation. So if you're Scottish and want to stay in Scotland, it's now going to cost you. You're going to be taxed for staying in your own country. Well, whoopee can do. Well, you can always go to the Lake District, I suppose. They don't have a tourist tax there. The Scottish Conservatives raised concerns over the impact on Scots when the tourist tax legislation was passed last month. Now, they estimate it will raise £35 million. But will it? Well, probably not, first of all. And secondly, what else will they lose in other money being spent elsewhere? It's a joke, isn't it? Anyway, the estimates saying yes, 142 million will come out of, or anywhere between 35 million and 142 million, sorry, and it will come out directly of Scots' pockets. This is people taxed for staying in their own country. Massive, isn't it? While a visitor levy is common in many European countries, it usually targets foreign visitors. The Herald reports that Scottish Bed and Breakfast Association has accused the government of a lack of understanding of how the tax would hit Scots. Imagine that. The SNP being filled with people too stupid to understand the effects of the things that they're bringing in. Hardly bears thinking about, does it? When you've got the likes of Shona Robinson in charge of tax, it's just no surprise, is it? The woman has the IQ of a boot. The group points out it will need to be paid on top of the 20% VAT and very high costs when it comes to alcohol, flight departure tax and business rates. It's now calling on local authorities, 17 of whom backed the idea, to refuse to implement it. David Weston, chairman of SBBA, said what is labelled as a visitor levy is seen by Scottish people as more like a stealth tax, because it is. You can call it a levy, it's a tax. It is a significant new tax, and we don't feel there has yet been enough informed public debate about it. No, they sneak it in, backwards, behind the door. Don't let people know. Why? They might reject it. And what happens if they do? Then we're in trouble. Oh yeah, best keep it quiet. Shh. Sneaky buggers, aren't they? This is a very high risk new tax, and it needs the public fully aware and fully behind it to be sustainable. The public won't get behind it. Public don't like being taxed. They're already taxed to smithereens in Scotland, the highest taxation ever. And now they want to put even more tax on. I can't afford to go on holiday. I'll stay at home. We'll tax you for that. They will tax the air you breathe, the water you drink. Honest to God. Do you want to toss yourself off? There'll be a hand tax for that. Anyway, Mr. Weston said, Scotland is getting a reputation of being expensive. He said, our VAT on accommodation is 20% compared with 10% in France, and we already have among the highest taxes on alcoholic drinks, flights and business premises. There are already signs of our domestic tourism faltering, as outbound tourism, by contrast, grows strongly, and if an extra tax is added on top, we fear Scotland will suffer severe damage to its tourism sector, which is crucial to Scotland's economy. It is one of the biggest money spinners you have, and you're taxing it into perdition. It will die. People just won't come. And once you get that reputation, it's very, very hard to break it. If you can stay in the south of Spain for £100 cheaper than staying in Scotland, what the hell are you doing going to Scotland? Small accommodation providers, often micro businesses like B&Bs, will bear the brunt of it by having to add the levy into the prices, thus losing sales, and by having all the burden of collecting it. But of course this won't just hit accommodation owners. The so-called visitor levy is actually an accommodation tax. £1 in 4 will be paid by the Scottish people. So even if you're not on holiday, you just need to travel for work, need to travel, I've got to travel down, somebody's in hospital, I need to get a room nearby, you're paying for it. Edinburgh has been the most among the local authorities to back the tax. Of course, they're reckless with their spending. The council reckons a 7% tax would generate 35 million, while Highland Council hopes to raise 10 million through the tax. The Visitor Levy Scotland Bill allows councils to charge overnight visitors up to 10%. Now, you add in 10% of the charge on top of the VAT. So you have a room, it's £100. Add your VAT, it's £120. Add your 10% on, it's £132. What do you think's going to happen? Fewer people are going to stay. Fewer people are going to do this stuff. It's a joke. These people are lunatics. A Scottish Government spokesman said, blah, 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 does not recognise the £35 million figure. Of course they don't, because they haven't done the money. And they go, this is a brilliant idea, little light bulb. They have no idea what they're doing. Morons. Please, God, vote them out. Get them out of this general election. Make them bankrupt. End the party. That then needs an election at Westminster. At Holyrood, because there's no SNP, so they are not the government anymore. It's the only way to save Scotland and the only way to get rid of this lunacy. I'm coming up. It's almost they're determined to destroy everything, aren't they? Go out with a blaze. Scorched earth. Anything left standing will be demolished. It's just pure evil, I think, at this point. I think they've given up. Anyway, I'm giving up too. I've done well today to get as far as I have, but I am starting to feel the effects, so still I'm not 100%. So I'm going to call it quits on the studio videos today. Be a few more just on the phone. And I want to thank you all very much for all your support again. I will ask, I'm so close. Listen, I'm so close to the subbies to get to 17,000. They're just wobbling up and down, up and down. Definitely check you're still subscribed. And definitely subscribed if you're not there. See if we can get to the... I'm only 40 away, something like that. 40 away from it. Let's see if we can get to 17,000. Anyway, thanks a lot. Bye.